Good evening, everyone. It is Sunday, June 12th at 6:30 p.m. I wanted to get into some things. It's been a very long time since I posted a video or even made a video and posted on YouTube. I've actually reopened a new shop, Etsy shop, and it's called Willow's Fancy Ideas. I will be posting a link to it in this video in the description box, and so you know where to go and know what I'm talking about. And I figured, it's been a rough start, and I'm trying something new. I recently got into making macrame. I'm kind of doing I don't want to call it tea staining because it's not just tea anymore. I don't only do coffee staining because the smell, I like the smell of coffee, but after smelling it for a while, it gives me a really bad migraine. So for now, I just stick with tea. I learned that you can use certain vegetables and fruits to stain paper also. And I actually recently stained these papers. It's actually spinach, and I've actually put some green food coloring because it wasn't coming out the way this is just with spinach. There's really no green to it all. The green paper that you do see is actually from me adding green food coloring to it. I learned that you can do that. And so I have some papers over here that I'm actually going to be ironing with my mini Cricut iron. Actually on and ready to go. I do a few at a time. And so I sell tea stained paper. I'm going to be selling, this type of paper too. I think it looks really cool having different colored papers. And I really do enjoy doing this. For some reason, it just kind of helps relieve any type of anxiety that I have. I'm very big on mental health and making sure I take priority in that. And myself, and for my husband, I make sure my husband does the same thing too. And see how nice and flat that just came out. So now I can put it in my little folder I have over here. Oh, that just fell. So So I started doing this more often, more of a hobby now. And I'm thinking to myself, why don't I just sell this? I learned a few months ago, I learned how to make macrame too. And I'm still learning some knots also in that. So I know I posted some keychains in my shop. I have a couple mermaid ones that I've dyed with Rit dye, which I absolutely love that dye. And I also have made some other ones too for your wrist, and some bigger ones too in case you want to gift them to your husband or spouse or father, whoever has pretty big hands. Nothing wrong with that. I like to try and have different sizes, make sure it's big enough for people. But right now, I recently got back into working with paper and doing junk journals, making junk journals again. I haven't posted or really made any junk journals recently. I'm actually in the process of making one at the moment, but it's going to be for one of my sisters for her birthday. I'm not going to say which one. I do have 3 sisters, and in case they watch this video, I'm not going to say what I'm making so they don't see it. Not that I think they will see it, but you just never know. It's going to be really cool. It's a Disney themed one, but it's a specific Disney character. And I ended up having one of the books that I got at a thrift store. I don't remember how much I paid for it, but I always try to go to thrift stores to find kids' books, and even the older ones from in the 90s or whatever, you know. I like to read to my niece and my nephews. You know, calms them down, helps them unwind. And this one I did get at a thrift store. I did find out that I forgot that there's this thing called little free libraries. So they have them at certain parks or certain corners of streets. I know that. I live in Newport Richey, Florida, and I went to Anderson Park a couple months ago, or a month ago, with my cousin, and I saw it. I'm like, oh my god, I remember someone mentioning about those, and those are actually really cool. So we went and looked. I didn't have any books to put in there, but I just only took one, and it turned out to be like a really old book. It is like 60-something years old, like 67 years old. It was just a really old book. The publishing company, I think it's still open, but I don't remember the publishing company. I don't remember the name of the book, but I just thought it was really neat. I've never heard of the book at all, but I know the author died at age 94, so I thought that was pretty neat to find such an old book in there. We have some kids' books in there, and so I ended up going through all of my books and found all the ones that I read. And I don't reread books. So part of me thinks, like, I don't even know why I buy them. I should just use my iPad for like the Amazon Kindle app on my iPad. So I started doing that so I don't have to buy the books. And I mean, I guess I could return them, but I'd rather just share them. So that's what I did. I donated a lot more books today than I actually took from the library. I actually took a few. Actually, a lot of all the kids' ones. Well, not all of them, just a couple of the ones. So I could read them to my niece and nephews. And I thought that was pretty cool that people do that. And we went to this other one too that my husband used to deliver to. He's actually a UPS driver. And that one was actually pretty big. It's located in Holiday. They had all sorts of books. And like adult ones, kids ones. And they even had like little food food to donate, to people who need food. Not a lot of it, but they even had cans of dog food that I saw, which I think is really sweet. It's really nice, especially during these hard times, with gas prices going up and I think gas prices going up and food cost of living is going up. So if you're wondering how I get these little marks on my papers, so I have a Pampered Chef air fryer deluxe, and I used the little trays, and I ended up buying an extra 2 of them. So And so I just put it on there when they're wet, and I put it in the oven. I just keep my oven at 350. I just leave it in there whenever I remember to take them out. And they always, my paper, it's never long that my paper stays in there, but this one I accidentally ripped, so I'll end up fixing that probably in a project or something. But that's how I get these little marks on the little diamond shaped marks. I use my grilling mats. And the trays can be in like heat up to like 400 degrees, I believe. It's either 400 or 450. But I think it's just 400 because the air fryer, it only goes up to 400 degrees. So I only keep the oven at 350. So my paper still comes out really nice. I don't have any issues with that. But I'm definitely trying the food coloring, and to make things, you know, more interesting. To get the food coloring I use is actually from Dollar Tree, which is not $1 anymore. It's $1.25 now. But that's where that is from. So it works just as good as the most expensive one. I didn't want to get the most expensive one for dyeing paper because I don't personally see the need in spending that much money just to use it to dye paper when you can just use cheaper ones. So there's nothing wrong with that. I also found out that you can use vanilla extract to dye paper, which I think is very cool. I only do that with the smaller ones just so I don't waste it. And again, I went to Dollar Tree for that too, because vanilla extract I know is expensive. I didn't want to use my expensive one that I have for that. I would rather save that one for baking. But, so my next project would be probably to use carrots. I read that you can use carrots to dye paper also. I just want something with like different colors other than just a tea stain. That way it just keeps more interesting. If you're wondering where I got these folders also, it comes in a 10-pack, actually very thick. It's like 2 inches wide. Like 2 inches wide. And you can write on it. This is how they come up too. I get 10 of them for like almost $6, I think, at Walmart. So I just hold my papers nicely, and I'm thinking about, you know, decorating it, embellishing it. I write everything in pencil because, you know, things change when it comes to this type of stuff, and eventually I'll just be using just green food coloring for my green papers. I'm not going to use spinach anymore. Because it doesn't make my papers green. So, and the next thing I want to try too is avocado skin and avocado seeds. I hear you can also use that to dye paper. So I'm gonna try that too. That and the carrots. So let's see how those turn out. Well, these are my last 4 pages that I'm doing. So I will put my shop up in the description link for you to see. You might be seeing these later on in my shop. And I will be posting more videos on what I have in my shop so you can see what I have. And I can show you. And soon I will be having colorful stained papers in my shop. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.